Welcome everybody to another video. Today we're very excited. We have an expert from Helium 10, the director of operations, Bradley Sutton. He has the most listened to podcast in the Amazon space. And I believe he's launched over 400 products on Amazon and helped hundreds of students learn how to do Amazon. So Bradley, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. It's great to be here.
Jacque, today we decided that we were gonna try to find a new way to do how to launch a product, and we actually talked to Bradley, and he's gonna help us explain to you guys a unique way of launching a product that we haven't even heard before. Very excited to share this with you guys.
Yeah, I'm excited because I feel like this is like the expert of experts, and it's for not only just advanced sellers, but this is really amazing because he's well versed and he's been well versed for many years. So just excited to share this.
Cool. Well, when you guys launch your products, had you like in the Amazon space, have you ever heard of what some people call the honeymoon period?
I've never, to be honest.
Okay.
No,
How about you, Jacque?
I have a guess, but no, I haven't.
Okay. So that's not a real Amazon term, so just for people know, but it's kind of like this thing that came up because what happened is that Amazon sellers who were launching products, they noticed that things that would happen in the beginning of a listing, like in the first couple months of a listing's life, it would have way more impact than like if the listing was a year old. So, there's, if they're doing a Facebook campaign or what some people call the search, find, buy, where they get people to, search for their product and find it and buy it. Like maybe for a mature listing, it would take 100 sales or something like that to get you to page one of some keyword, right? But in the honeymoon period, they would find it only takes like 20 or 30. And so like a lot of people are like really focused, like, oh man, I really got to like start off with a bang, the honeymoon period, so I can take advantage of that. I always use that for like the last 3 years, that kind of like thought process. But then what happened was a year and a half ago, I was noticing that there was this like sweet spot that I found on accident where I would do, something again that normally you would think would take 100 purchases or 100 sales, of a certain, search for a keyword to get to page one. And then in the regular honeymoon period, maybe take 20, but I was doing it for like 2 or 3. And that's a huge deal because, usually when you're doing that kind of promotion, like if you're having to give rebates later or give discounts, I mean, that costs money, like if you're talking about 100 units and your product is like $30, well, people out there can do the math. We're talking thousands of dollars that you're kind of losing in the beginning, right? And it's still worth it. You still got to do that, so you can get the sales later. But imagine instead of paying $3,000, you're only having to do like less than $300 or something like that. And so what I dedicated myself to doing for a year and a half or so, I was like, all right, I found this on accident. Like, how can I reverse engineer this? Like, so I can actually on purpose get this effect. And then, for about a year, I was studying like different things. And then I was like, okay, what do I call this? People call this the honeymoon period, the regular one. So I Googled, I was like, most expensive honeymoon destination, right? And then of course there's Bali there, right? There's Bora Bora, there's Tahiti. Number one though, what it came up in my Google search was the Maldives honeymoon. So I was like, I'm going to call this the Maldives honeymoon. And I'm just kind of like a crazy person anyway. So I launched this strategy on a podcast. And I actually flew to the Maldives for one day just to record the podcast over there, just because I'm a weirdo, but for dramatic effect. But yeah, I flew a few months ago to the Maldives. I recorded this episode, and that's what that I'll talk about this strategy here. But there you go. You guys are going to Bali, right?
Yeah, we're about to leave this weekend and literally leave everything here and take our bags and move to Bali.
Oh, move or vacation?
No, we're not going on vacation. We're going to leave the Bay completely.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I'm actually leaving my apartment, leaving everything, behind and moving to Bali. And then we're not going to stay there for like a year. We just want to move to Bali for a couple of months and then figure out where we want to go after and just kind of like live, in Airbnbs month to month.
I love it. So maybe we got to come up with the Bali keyword research strategy or something. If we have the Maldives honeymoon, we'll do like the Bali product launch or the.
Yeah, we'll add that to the course. We got to make sure.
Right? That'd be funny. I like that.
All right. So like let me go through what this is. So like one thing that is important even before you launch a product is trying to do your product research in a way that you can like make this Maldives honeymoon period work for you. And let me show you guys, I'm going to share my screen here. I want to show you guys a part of this. Most people, when they, could you do the allow me to share screen again?
Yeah. One
I
second.
think when I did the host thing, it moved away.
There you go.
Perfect. So, most people, when they think of Amazon launch strategy, it's just about, all right, I've got my product. Now it's in Amazon and now I'm going to start the listing. That's like the launch, right? That's true. But in this strategy, like this part of the launch strategy, you have to like start thinking about it before you even pick your product. So let me show you what I mean here. So I'm just going to go here. You should be able to see my screen. Let me go to Amazon.
Yep.
Can you guys see my Amazon screen here?
Yes.
Sir.
Perfect. All right. So I'm going to show an example of something that I wouldn't be able to do the Maldives honeymoon launch strategy. And the one key is looking for keywords that are going to be like your main keywords or have a lot of search volume. A lot of people search for it, but not a lot of people have that exact keyword in the title. So what do I mean by that? So for example, right here, I search for collagen peptides. And if I use the Helium 10 Chrome extension here, just to trying to like check what is the search volume, it's probably going to be like, okay, yeah, look at that. There's 138,000. So we might think, oh, wow, look at that. There's a lot of people searching for this keyword, over 100,000. But the Maldives honeymoon strategy wouldn't work necessarily on this, because if we start looking at these titles, like everybody has got collagen peptides in the title. So like if I downloaded this right here to Excel, I could actually see that probably out of these 50 listings, I would say probably 35 of them or something all have collagen peptides. So it doesn't make it impossible to launch, but I can't take advantage of this kind of like, I don't know if I want to call it a loophole, but like kind of like this bonus juice, right?
Yeah.
So the key is look for keywords where the main key, or products where the main keyword, if you search for it, like almost nobody has it in their title. Like for example, let me show one. We launched a product in a case study that was a coffin shelf. All right, you might think, like, who in the world would buy this? Like would either of you buy something that looks like this?
When you said it, I was like, I hope it's not actually a coffin shelf.
No, it literally is a coffin shelf. We did this whole thing on YouTube where we kind of like showed how we found this product, but you'd be shocked. We sold thousands of these last year, like
Wow.
at $30, and we pay $4 for it. People
Wow.
like weird things on Amazon, right? But this is like, I'm not saying everybody go out and buy a coffin shelf. This is our product here, by the way. This Manny's Mysterious Oddities one, but we can see the difference here. All right. So like, for example, I can see this says coffin shelf in the title. This one says coffin shelf. Here's our product, obviously says coffin shelf. This one says it, and this one says it. But as we start going, now all of a sudden we see a bunch of ones that aren't coffin shelves. Like this is a moon shelf. This is a coffin mirror. Here's some more moon shelves. This is like a letterboard or something. And like I'm halfway down and I'm already not seeing anything. Like here's a coffin shelf. This is our product too. Like just, for those who want the pink coffin shelf, like just boggles my mind. The kind of things you can sell on Amazon. But as you can see, as we scroll down this page, like now there's not that many people who have coffin shelf in the title. So totally, instead of like 35 out of 50, like collagen peptides, there's only like 10 people maybe out of these 50 products on page one that even have coffin shelf in the title. So what that means is that it's going to be easier for us to get here on the page one if of course if our product has coffin shelf in the title. It's going to be easier for us to get there, because when you see Amazon throwing things that aren't even relevant to that keyword on page one, that means there's just like so few products that even fit this criteria that Amazon is just like, okay, what am I going to put here on page one? Let me put this, I think one of these, let me put a moon shelf. Maybe somebody buying a coffin shelf likes a moon shelf, but really if you're searching for a coffin shelf, you want a shelf that's shaped like a coffin. So the fact that not many people have that in the title, that's like really, really key. Have you guys ever heard about that before? Or is that the first time you're hearing this kind of thing?
First time ever.
Yeah, it's the first time also.
Yeah. I
So
see where you're headed with it. I see the like idea before you even like continue, but it's crazy. I never heard of that and tried it myself, but I just kind of wondered. So what if you already do have your product and you are already selling? Could you possibly just try to easily rank for a keyword that You can put in your title that other sellers are not having it in their title. It's still the same
Yeah.
product, but
Yeah, good question. Good question. It's harder to do with a mature listing. Like this works really well like in the first month. But I did test it. It actually still does work even with mature listings. However, it's not just like a numbers game. And I think that's one of the big mistakes that so many Amazon sellers make is they get too focused on like metrics and numbers and search volume, and then they forget about the real thing, which is like, does this make sense to the buyer who's buying my product? Sure, you want to make the Amazon algorithm happy, but we can't just focus on that. So, like, for example, what I mean is like, let's say, the collagen peptides example, like, if I have collagen peptides product, well, I'm not going to go put coffin shelf in the title of that just because, let me get to page 1 here on coffin shelf. It doesn't matter if I'm on page 1 of coffin shelf if my product is collagen. Nobody's going to buy my product. So if you can find a keyword that search for a lot and is really, it accurately describes your product, as in somebody who searches that keyword would be likely to buy your product if they see it, then yeah, absolutely. It would be something that, if you can change your title a little bit, you might be able to take advantage of this.
wow, that's amazing to hear. So if somebody watching this wanted to, try this out themselves, their first step would be to just try out different keywords on the Amazon search bar and try to just find if, a lot of them don't have that keyword in their title.
Yeah, that's definitely a way to do it. So, one thing let me share my screen again. One thing to be careful of is a lot of people who like, oh, I'm savvy with Google Chrome or something. I'm just going to do like a control F and then, find it here. Like that kind of works. But sometimes, as you guys can see right here, like the Amazon cuts off part of the title, right? If the titles are long. So that's not a good way to do it. So I use the Chrome extension, which is actually free. It's a free, I'm not sure where this video is going to be, but I'm sure you guys can put a link here. It's a free download. What I do is I load it up here and then I download this to Excel. All right. And of course, you don't need like a tool to do this. You can just like copy all the titles one by one, but obviously that would take a million years. So I download this to an Excel file, and then I go ahead and open it up, and then I'm gonna have the full titles right here. So here's the Excel file that opens up. Here's all of the titles that are on this first page. Now you notice here, I'm going to zoom in a little bit here because it's probably hard for you to see. Zoom. All right, here we go. Let's go 200.
I have 1020 vision, so I could see it.
Okay. I don't like, I can barely see it and I'm not even on screen share. All right. So one thing, these dollar symbols mean sponsored ads. So one thing that's important with this strategy is that's not counting the sponsored ads. Like those don't count. All right. When we're talking about this, is only the ones that are organically there. So I'm just going to go filter and let me just take out anything with a dollar sign. I'm just going to take out the dollar sign, all these, and I'm going to delete all of these. So what's left is all of just the regular things on this page. And so what I'll do right now is now on this page, I'll do a control F and I'll just type in coffin shelf and find all. And boom, it tells me that there is exactly 10 products on that page 1 that have coffin shelf. If I did this for that collagen peptides, it'd be 38. So the first step, like I know we're going to do more videos later on how to find the product, but one way that I use, I'll just show you guys in like 2 minutes here. Let me pull it up, is I can just find it with a black box. All right. So here we have tons and tons of products in this database, but I like to look for keywords. So why don't you throw me a random, what, this is Italian. By the way, we can do Italian, we can do Canada, Amazon, Mexico, Amazon, Germany. I'm assuming most people watching this video are want to sell in the USA. So let me change that to USA. Why don't you, Jackie, why don't you give me one category, and Sal, why don't you give me another category that we can search in?
Okay, I'll give you a toys category.
All right, toys. We'll go to toys. All right.
Why were you in the Italian market?
I was doing some product research earlier in the Amazon Italy.
Okay.
Somebody was like, hey, how can I find products in Amazon Italy? And our tool, it works in like most Amazon marketplaces. So what you should do is like, you don't do this in the Amazon USA and then like, oh, let me go ahead and Google translate and figure out what it is in Italian. You do actually the research in that marketplace. And so like when I did that drop down menu, that wasn't like a translation thing. That was like, hey, let me look at the database for Amazon Italy, but nope. Now let me look at the database for Amazon USA.
Got it. Okay.
So what category would you like me to look for?
Let's do babies.
Baby. All right. There we go. Okay. So now one thing that I think all of us understand, maybe not the new people, but in order to be successful on Amazon, there's got to be demand, right? There's got to be demand for your product. Now, if I was looking for a product, like just one product, and how would I know if there's demand for one product? Like, what would you guys say? Like if I'm not looking for a keyword, I'm looking for a keyword here, but if I was looking for the product, what would indicate that a product is in demand? How would you guys verify that?
Just go to Amazon.com, look
Yeah.
for so we're not doing the keyword.
Yeah, not the keyword. So like if I was looking for a product instead, which actually I have, right? Like we could look for a product. Like what would indicate demand? Like how would you know that people want a product? Like what metric would you look at? I guess I could say.
Just
Monthly
go on Amazon and just simply look through the listings and seeing how much are there. And the way I do it is seeing how much of one color is on each page. So it kind of gives you an idea of the best sellers are usually on the first page and just kind of going from there.
Absolutely.
What metric would be the sales, right?
Sales, good. So looking on Amazon, really important. You know, you don't want some on page one. You know, if a product's on page 6 or 7, well, I mean, I personally have never bought a product like beyond page 3. I don't know about you guys, but yeah, it's got to be on page 1. That means it had sales. And then you brought up look at that. You guys are completing each other's sentences already and everything. All right. Sal got the second part of it, which is the sales. All right. But now in this case, I'm going to look for a keyword. So how would you know if a keyword has demand? What metric would you look at? Because there's no sales for a keyword, right? So like what metric would indicate demand for a keyword?
Or a keyword? I'm actually not sure.
Good. I would have been upset if you guys answered every one of my questions here, because that means nobody's learning anything. You have a guess, Jackie?
No, I really
Yes.
don't.
Excellent. All right. I love it. All right. So in this case,
Wait, I might have an answer.
go ahead.
Search volume.
You got it. Search volume. All right.
I don't know why it took me a while to get that. I was like, wait, keyword. We've done research on this, but yeah, it's search volume. If it has, 2,000 minimum, I've tried, and
Yeah,
that's what I would use for my, PPC campaign and stuff. And if it has like 50,000 search volume, 100,000, then it's super high in demand. And
Yep.
as we go on, yeah.
So that what you just said right there is kind of like the basis of how to estimate demand. If you're looking for a product, like you said, it's sales. If you're looking for a keyword, it's how many times it's searched or search volume. So in this case, I'm gonna like, hey, I want to find a keyword that's search. And what did you say? You like putting 2,000? You said?
Yeah, I just used that today. 2,000 minimum search volume.
Let's do 2,000.
Around the same, 2,000, at least 3,000 sometimes, just depends.
Okay, let's go with Jackie. Let's go with 3,000 then. All right, and let's. I'm just gonna cap this off at like 10,000. And then what I'm going to do is I like to find products that, or not products, but keywords where if I look at a lot of the listings on page 1, a lot of them like don't have that many reviews. You know, I remember that college. I don't know if you guys saw. I went kind of fast, but that collagen peptides, like every single listing on there is like 10,000, 20,000 reviews. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah,
it's really hard to compete, with that, right? So I'm going to say, hey, if I take the average number of reviews on some of the top products that, let's just say maybe it's like less than 125. All right. And, I'm just going to go with this. Let's see. So I'm just basically saying, hey, show me a keyword that's searched for at least 3,000 times, less than 10,000 times, but the number of reviews on page 1 are less than, our average less than 25. And so you see a lot of like Valentine's Day things, because that's kind of hot right now. Obviously Valentine's Day is coming up. Let me see what, if there's anything else here. And I'm going to show you guys how we can, Fidget Toy Simple Dimple. That sounds like a brand name, actually. I'm just going to search for something like really, really interesting. By the way, I don't do anything that has like branded terms in it, like Among Us. Isn't that a game, right? Isn't that like a...
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah.
I'm the last person. I have not heard of a game or, game in like 5 years.
Yeah, I don't I don't play the games at all, so like I wouldn't know. Boba tea plush. Like, well, hold on. Let me just look at that. That just looks super interesting. I'm a
Boba.
boba. You guys are in California. You guys are boba fans or no?
My big brother, my little brother, is a big fan. Every day he'll have one. Me, I don't know. I think it's
I'm not
Look
too
at
much of
this.
a boba drinker, but it is really popular here in the Bay Area.
oh yeah. I
Yeah.
knew it was gonna be that. Like
Look at that.
that's,
I didn't know something like this. So
No, I
you
thought
really gotta like boba.
I thought
yeah.
it was gonna be like a silicone like jar or something. It's interesting.
That's crazy. So it's like almost like a teddy bear, right? That's shaped like now. First of all, let me just say, everybody out there, I would not sell this because one thing that I look for is if every single thing on like page one like looks almost the same. That's like an indication to me that I kind of want to stay away. You guys agree with that?
Oh,
Yeah,
100.
definitely. Yeah.
Okay. All right, cool. So like, but just to talk about what we were talking about with the Maldives honeymoon. So I would look here and I'm going to check X-ray, right? And we can see, hey, this is searched for 3,600 times. I would have done the same thing. I would download it, right? And then I'm going to see how many people have this boba tea plush in the title. And then the less number of people who have it, the easier it's going to be for me to rank on page one if I were to launch that product. So that's kind of like the process I take. Like I use this database and I'm like, all right, let me just find an interesting keyword in itself. And then after that, let me just see like kind of gauge how easy or how difficult it would be to launch using that method.
Wow.
Wow.
That was crazy to
A good
see.
gem to know.
Yeah, I'm excited to share that with everybody that we're working with and have them try that out. I think a lot of people, even if they already have their first product, I've actually been surprised that people enjoy product research and they're like excited to try to create new brands and find new niches to sell in. So for them to have a whole new way to do product research, it's like, here's a new thing for you to do. So I'm gonna try
I
it too.
think product research is like one of the funnest parts of Amazon. Just like you start one way and then you start going down these rabbit trails, right? And you discover things like boba plushes that you didn't even know existed, or coffin shelves, right? And you're like, what? This many people buy this thing? Are you serious right now? So it's so fun to do this.
That's
Exactly. And there's tons of methods out there. I mean, even for fun, I would go on YouTube and just try out every single method I could find because it was enjoyable to me.
Yeah.
Funny.
And that's the beauty about Amazon, because there's like it's not one way to do product research or one way to succeed on Amazon or one tool that you have to use. I mean, on Amazon, you can use different tools, you can use different methods. I mean, there are some bad methods. Yeah. I mean, we're not gonna say, oh, do anything you want on Amazon. Otherwise, you can launch collagen peptides. No, there are some things that you shouldn't do, but I love how it's not just one exact formula, because that would be so boring, right?
Yeah.
You kind of do what works for you, and then you could still get to the same place as your friend who might have done a completely different method to end up in the same place.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, that was very cool to see. Definitely appreciate that. I'm curious, if you had to just pick one product research method, it might be like the one we all do, but what's your favorite product research method?
My favorite, and this is something I used to launch last year, like 25 different products. I use this method, is I look for something on Amazon that maybe seems like I just missed it. Like it's now probably a little bit too saturated. Like if I would have caught it like a year ago, I would have been good. And then normally if a seller sees that, they stop, right? So what I do though is, especially when I'm thinking about the home decor or some toys, is I'll look for that same exact keyword on Etsy or Pinterest. Let me show you guys real quick. I know we were already taking a lot of time, but this is kind of cool. Let's say I found the keyword. This is actually something that we did. This is how we launched one of those products, not the coffin shelf, but the other one. If I look for egg holder on Amazon, you can see like, you know what? It might be a little bit late. Like look at this 5,000 reviews and 1,000, 3,000. But what do you notice? What are the two like major materials you see here?
Looks like some kind of plastic
Mhm,
and
mhm.
kind of some kind of metal is that?
Metal. I think
Yeah, exactly. So I just see tons of like plastic and metal ones here, like just dominating the page one, right? So what I do is I like to look at Etsy and Pinterest to see if there's something trending that maybe hasn't hit on Amazon. And what a lot of people don't realize is that Etsy and Pinterest are like sometimes 3 to 8 months ahead of Amazon. And the reason is you guys have launched multiple products on Amazon before, right?
Yeah.
So think back. Let me ask this to Jackie. Think back. You don't have to tell me what it is. I don't know if you're one of those who keep it secret. So I never ask it anyways. But Jackie, think back to the last product you launched on Amazon. So from the moment that you decided that, hey, I want to get into this, what was your next step? Did you like look for a factory or something?
Yeah, I looked at ways I could differentiate in a
Mhm.
not in a costly way, but thinking outside the box. What could make my
Okay.
product better? So I did tune my product, and then I talked to my manufacturer
Mhm.
and went on from there.
Did you get a sample first or okay, so there's this okay, so talk to manufacturer, got a sample, and then did you change anything after the sample? Like did you say, "Oh, you know what, change this," or
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, I ordered the sample just to inspect the quality, and then after inspecting the quality, I looked at the sample and seeing what can I add to it. Not that I have it in front of me and
yeah.
seeing if it would look better at this, but yeah, I did ask for product tuning as soon as the sample arrived.
Okay, so for right now, how much time are we talking from the moment you're like, "Hey, I want to sell this," and now you talk to the factory, you got your first sample and you send it back. What are we at like now? A month, month and a half?
A month and a half. Yeah,
Okay.
that time was like a month and a half.
Okay, so now we're at a month and a half and then the next step was you just ordered it and they manufactured it or
Yeah, pretty much. I just
okay.
got a cost of what it would be, the difference, and yeah, it was just pretty on
Now,
board.
how long did it take them to produce the product? Like a month, 2 months?
For this product, it was bigger, so it took them a month, 30 days.
Okay. So now we're at like 2.5 months, right? So a month and a half for the sample process. And now the product is ready to ship. Now we're at 2.5 months. And then how long did it take to get from your manufacturer to, excuse me, to Amazon?
It took, I would say, 3 weeks.
Okay.
I
That's
think
pretty fast. That's
it was
good.
pretty fast, yeah, because I got half of them shipped air. That's why. Otherwise, it
Oh,
would have
okay.
taken. Otherwise,
Okay. So now we're at 3.5 months. And then now it takes a little bit of time to like populate amongst the Amazon distribution warehouses until it's so like fastest case scenario, we're talking like 4 months, right? And that sounds about right.
yeah.
You have a similar experience, Sal? About four
That
months
number has
for
been what I've used for everyone that I explained to because I've had every single new client and ourselves too 3 to 4 months every time.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm exactly the same. Like the fastest I've ever gotten something is maybe 3.5 months, but sometimes it's taken up to 5 or 6 months. So that's how it is for Amazon sellers, right? So like even if you're like the first one to have this idea, the fastest you can get it on Amazon is probably like 4 months or something, right? Now let's talk about Etsy. Etsy, most of the sellers on Etsy, they're making this stuff like in their garage, So, because they're a woodworker or they're a candle maker or whatever, right? So you have an idea if you're an Etsy seller, that entire process is like 3 days. Like I have an idea. Let me just go ahead and make this in my garage. Boom, here's my listing, and I'm shipping this myself. I'm not. So literally, you have from the time you have an idea on Amazon, it's like 4 months. When you have an idea on Etsy, most of those sellers in 4 days, they're already selling that product. Pinterest is even more. Pinterest is basically just like ideas, right? So you have an idea in 4 minutes, now you made a pin on it, right? So if you see something that's trending on Etsy or Pinterest, sometimes these are months and months ahead of Amazon. Let me show you exactly what we saw. You guys saw on Amazon what egg holder looks like, right? Even right now. And this is a product, I don't care if anybody like steals the idea or anything. We're just doing this for a case study. Watch what happens if I go to like, I'm going to log on to Etsy right here. Hold on. Let me just pull it up. Watch what happens when I go to Etsy and search the same exact keyword, egg holder. So I search for egg holder on Amazon. Now, on here, what do you notice about the material that most of these are?
They're
Uh,
wooden.
yeah, totally different. Looks
Yeah,
like
Exactly. It's different. There's still, a couple plastic, there's probably a metal one somewhere here. If I scroll, here's a metal one, right? But this is the same exact keyword that somebody is searching on Amazon and they get completely different results on Etsy. And so like, the thought process is, hey, I'm going to start doing these like kind of like shelving unit kind of things. And maybe this is what's going to be hot on Amazon in like 6 months and just people haven't figured it out yet. So I use this method over and over again last year to kind of like get ahead of everybody else, like even if Amazon, a whole bunch of Amazon sellers do it, I'll have like 4 months where I'm like the only seller. And so I don't even care if people come on later, since I'm so far advanced. Like I've solidified that number one position, and I have the most reviews and everything. So that's a way that I can kind of like get ahead of the curve on Amazon.
Wow, you're dropping some gems. Like that was
Yeah.
great.
I
I
was trying to
never
think
would
of
have thought,
what
but
the title of this video. Crazy ways to find products in
winning
2020.
products or products
Yeah.
that will be big.
Well, since we're on this, I have a way that I did it. Maybe it's been out there, but I haven't like seen it in a course or anything. So what I did is when I had my first product and I had it from the same manufacturer that I wanted to keep working with, I asked them what are their upcoming products that they're going to be promoting in their catalog that isn't out yet. So I asked
Mm,
them for not one, their upcoming new products that they haven't even like promoted, and two, what are their best selling items that they have other Amazon sellers purchasing. And I actually had a couple suppliers send me one box that I paid one shipping fee for
mhm,
with
mhm.
20 samples inside. So instead of doing product research, I actually just got to open up the box and see, 5, 6 new items that aren't even out yet, and then all the best selling items they have, and then do my product research on those and see which ones are actually good products for me to use. And I did one of those products myself. So that's another cool,
Yeah,
unique way that I
that's
found.
super cool for people to take advantage of that because most people don't know that, they have that option.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. It's the timing is so important sometimes on Amazon. Like of course you got to have a good quality product, you got to have good keywords and all that stuff. But then sometimes even without those things, if you can hit the timing right, and get ahead of other people, like by using, tricks like that, that's like the difference of if you're going to be successful or if your product is not going to be very competitive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
awesome. Thank you for all the valuable info, Bradley. We're definitely excited to share this with everybody and to make a couple more videos with all the different tricks that you have. So,
Cool.
very appreciative of you and everybody that is listening. Stay tuned for the next couple of videos where Bradley's going to help us actually look for products and optimize our listing and a lot more that has to do with becoming a 6 and 7 figure seller on Amazon. Because what I've experienced is a lot of people can get the basics down, can get to learn how to find products and how to sell on Amazon. But now I'm not making any money. Why aren't you making any money?
Yep.
Number one is usually your listing isn't optimized. You don't have the right keywords. You don't have your search terms. I ran into something funny today. Somebody who took a very expensive course, it's like $5,000, did everything correctly, and her search terms didn't have a comma in between them.
Hmm.
So it was like messing everything up, and she didn't even actually use the Helium 10 optimization that is in there. She didn't know it was in there, so I showed that to her. So all that is stuff that's going to help you guys scale your business and make way more money than you will make just leaving it the way it is. So stay tuned, guys. That'll be coming up real soon in the next couple of videos.
Cool. Cool.
Awesome.